What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are looking at Bitcoin today. Good old-fashioned Bitcoin, man. The Mac Daddy Crypto King himself. Right now, we're sitting at a price of $30,175. I am going to drink some water because my throat hurts. For some reason, I got like a wicked pain in my throat. I don't know where that came from. Looking at this RSI here, if we were playing off of it, looking at the daily here, we're rejecting the 100 area, which isn't common. It's really not. I mean, it's not a fib level technically, but rejecting it like this is not common. Double topping it, sure, but like this, it's not really common. We are holding support on the 786 so far. I wouldn't say we're holding support on the 886. We're kind of disrespecting it, truthfully. Just from this look alone, I would assume that we are going to move down to the 618 at least, which would be around $28,400. Previous area of a high right here, right? It's like right there. It's this previous high. Previous area of support, even right here. Kind of an area of resistance back here, even. If we were to take this line and put it at the top close here, you can see it covers the 618 perfectly, where this top is. So this, I think, could promote a good area of support. We could go lower. It's totally possible and be fine. We could go lower. We could go down to the 382, find support from there and go up. But generally, when you're above the 618 like this and you're holding levels above like this for quite a while, even if you don't see the extensions, which is weird and kind of weak in an honest look of the things, my assumption would be that we do hold the 618 as support. That is my assumption. And then if we take this fib here from bottom to top, the 618 on this fib is a little bit lower. It's near the 382, where the 382 on this fib is right by the 618. And I do have to say that if this is going to be a strong move, a strong bullish move up, finding support on the 382 is a very common thing before you bounce higher, right? You go down to the 382 and then you bounce higher. And this white line, again, this was for the 618. I think it was like right there or something like that. It's really close to the 382. We could wick below the 382, come back up and close it as support, hold above it as support, like we did here, right? We closed below the 236, but we didn't close below it. We wicked below it, but we closed above it. I really think that this could be the low. I know I was talking about potentially 27.1 being the low, but I think that we might not go as low on Bitcoin. 28.7k, 28.5k, somewhere around there, I think might be the low. And looking at the RSI, this daily RSI, it didn't bounce off the 50, but if we put a line right here at the bottom, right there, you had resistance here, you had resistance here, you had support over here, you had resistance here. This is a significant level. The 50 itself is significant too, but I would say that this level, at least relatively speaking, has proved its significance. So holding support here is bullish. Being above the 50 itself is bullish. At the moment, I mean, this bearish divergence that formed, it could have already played out. The most bearish day that we've had was this day here, where we closed daily below this, and this day was only a 1.9% day to the downside. And on this day, we also had a new high for the year. So it's like, I don't know what to make of this thing, man. I do still think it goes lower, but as we keep moving sideways without really doing anything, it's making me second guess myself a little bit, which is okay. It's okay to second guess yourself, but this is something I was looking at. Let's take this area over here, right? If this is our range, we got into our range on this day, right? Yes, we went higher, but you can see where I would say this is the day, not this day back here, but this day we got in the range. We've been in this range for about 19 days now, right? If we got in this range back here on this day, we didn't break out of it until, really we didn't break out of it until this day, which was the 24th day. And I'm not taking this range or this range, I'm taking ranges that kind of look similar. I feel like this looks kind of similar to this, right? I feel like this range here has a similar look even. Not this range, it's like slanted downwards. But this range here, we got into it on this day. We broke out of it on this day. And not shortly after we came back up, sure, but we broke out of it on that day. You know, here, I don't really know if that doesn't look the same to me. It's kind of weird. I would say, you know, this all in all is kind of one big range, but even this range here, we have like a sloping, like a descending kind of slope. I wonder if we took the low or the day that we got in this range here and the day that we broke it, that's 21 bars right there. You know, 21 bars, 20 bars, 24 bars. We're at 19 bars right now. Could we be breaking out of this range soon in the next, I mean, at the most 5 days? It's possible. I think it's possible. Could we be breaking out of it today or tomorrow or the next day, you know, within the next 3 days? I think it's possible. Today is Monday. It's the beginning of a new week for crypto, right? The week just closed. We have 6 days and 21 hours left. It just closed. Could we see the move that breaks out of this range this week? I think we could. And in fact, I said that last week that I thought we'd experience it, but you know, I think we're long overdue in this range, and that's totally fine. If anything, that's bullish. It's actually a very bullish thing to move up and then hold it as strength and not you know, even it'd be nice, it'd be really strong, right, to keep going, but not giving much of it back at all. Really holding this from bottom to top here, holding this 236 as support for as long as you have without breaking it. It's pretty impressive, I gotta say. Being above the RSI or on the 50 like this is a strong sign, and you know, you've cooled off a bit. You're at the point now where you've cooled off a bit. You can make moves up higher, and you can make moves up dramatically higher in price without getting into the overbought zone. I say dramatically, but just relative to what this move is here. You know, before we cooled off a little bit, we kind of cooled off in this area, and then we went higher, right? You know, kind of the same thing. And this is pretty comparable, I would say, to this range, right? To be fair, it's kind of comparable to this range too. Maybe not. The RSI was in the overbought zone a lot longer. Maybe it's less comparable. I don't know. Here, you know, we were oversold. Kind of different. The only thing that they have similar is the time frame. But I guess the one that it has the most in common with would be this range here. And that's kind of bullish. Gotta say, it's kind of bullish. At the moment, I definitely am still bearishly inclined. We are, again, having lower daily closes. This was a very bearish day that we had. We've had, you know, 3 bearish days in a row there, which I guess I don't normally like, but we didn't see a bullish retracement after that, so that's good. We are, if we're at the bottom here to the top, we are on the lower half of this range, the 0.5 line here. We've actually been rejecting it, so as long as we're in the kind of lower half, the bearish half of this range, I'm leaning toward the bearish side. But as soon as on the daily, as soon as this thing, I mean, if this RSI gets above this high here, if on the 4 hour we get above the 50 here, we promote this kind of low, higher low thing. We've got a high here and a higher high. We just had a higher low, we'd be setting up for a higher high. So if on the 4 hour we can get above the 50, and really if we take out this high, if on the daily on the RSI, if we can get above that high, if the price can get above the halfway point on a daily close of this range, I might flip bullish. At the moment, I'm still bearish. If I had to bet money on it, I would bet it on the bearish side. But I mean, you're showing strength, man. You're showing strength one way or another. And even going down from here, you can still show strength at lower prices. The 382 down at 28.7k, 28.6k. I like this top more, right? 28.7k. I really like that as a low. From top to bottom here, the 618 is right around where this 382 is, which is at 28.47k, where this 382 is at 28.69k. So 28.47, 28.69, they're very close in terms of Bitcoin. I'm going to delete this fib here. But this 618 is also at a previous area of resistance. Previous area of resistance over here too. If I took a line and I drew it at the weekly or the daily close here, the daily high close, that white line, that horizontal line, covers the 618. So this is a significant line. The only thing that has me thinking that we could go lower than this line is that it's just that to me it feels obvious. It feels obvious. That doesn't mean that it's gonna not. That doesn't mean that it can't hold this line as support. It feels very obvious. Like we had a perfect tip on it here, We held it as resistance back over here. Like, for us to just tip it here, that it kind of sounds too perfect, but sometimes perfect things do happen. I would be more inclined to believe that we go a little bit below it, maybe close above it or something like that, but I would think that we probably wick below it. Maybe we wick to the previous daily, the daily close high here, which is actually, coincidentally enough, right where I drew that. I didn't mean to, but it looks nice. It fits. We could wick all the way down to the 382 and then come back up. And you know what's nice about the 382 area here, besides the fact that it gives us cheaper Bitcoin, is it was an area of support over here. It was an area of support over here. It's like the middle of this kind of range right here. And it was resistance, right? Like kind of close to resistance. I guess the resistance was a little bit lower, but I don't know. It was an area of support multiple times before, which could it be an area of support again? I think it could. So it's really hard to say, in my opinion, where this thing's going to bottom, but I do think we go lower. I do think it'll be in between. You know, I had a more broad range as to where I thought it was going to bottom, but now I think I feel more comfortable saying in between 28.5 and, man, I don't know. I don't know if it goes to 27K. I guess it's kind of like the same range I've been giving. You know, it's like $400 less, but 28.5 to like 27K, that sounds about right. And really, this purple line, man, like if we were to go just below it, you know, at that point we'd be bouncing off the 50, which would make the low around like 27.7K. So we really could go like not to the 382, maybe a little bit below the 618 or something like that. But again, you know, if this takes a few more days to move sideways before it breaks down, you know, even while it's breaking down, it's not going to just dump all the way down there in one day. It could, but if it takes some days, this line's only going to move up to the 618. Again, you know, the main thing I'm predicting is that we come down below this line, close right below it, or wick right below it, whatever, and then, you know, not for a long time, we shoot back up above it, just like we did here. We were below it for not a long time, and then we came right back up above it. It's hard to say, but that definitely is my bias at the moment. And looking at the 1 hour RSI, definitely looks weak at the moment. 12 minutes left in this hour. It looks like it might close red. It could close green. It really could. You know, it's only 0.08% to the downside. That 12 minutes is enough time to change that, to flip that. So, you know, it could. You did find support on the 50 before. Now you might be finding resistance on it, which would be a bad look. You probably would come lower. But I don't know, man. It wouldn't take much to flip this thing bullish. It really wouldn't. That's why the tone of this video has been a little bit less assuring, I guess. It's a little bit more curious, because I don't know. I mean, and you never know. Nobody ever knows, you know. But I mean, except for the insiders, except for Satoshi Nakamoto himself. But no, you know, I do think that we go lower, but we're in a position where that can be disproven, that can be invalidated very quickly, and all it would take, really, truthfully, is a daily close right above this one here, which is less than 3% away. So if we close, I'm sorry, just above 3%, not less than 3%. If we can close above that high, I would think it's go time, man. I really would, because again, I know that we've, you know, had higher closes before and it promoted nothing, but I think we're coming to the end of this range. I think that this RSI has cooled off enough that if it wanted to go higher, it could do it now. It's also at a point where if it wanted to go lower, it could do it now too. And I would expect that we would have a deeper retracement than a 236, you know, at least a 382. But it doesn't have to happen that way. 236 retracements and then continuations from there, they do happen. Could this be one of them? I don't know. You know, I really don't know. You are showing strength in the RSI. On the weekly, you've got strength in the RSI. On the monthly, you are showing strength on the RSI. On the daily, on the 4 hour, you're not, but not yet. You have potential to. And what I mean by that is you've got higher lows, you've got higher highs, just maintain that. Get above the 50, keep maintaining that. Get this kind of structure again, where most of it is above the 50, above this line, right? It goes below the 50, but most of it's above the 50. Right now, most of it is below the 50. Oops, that was not a straight line, man. But most of it's below the 50. if you can flip the script on that and get it to start doing some bullish things up here, it might not be immediately that we go to the upside. You know, this is the 4 hour, so it might not be like within the day or 2 days that we go to the upside, but within this week, I would definitely think that we could. Again, assuming that all those like kind of bullish things take place. And what that would be is, you know, get above this high here on the daily, get above that high here on the 4 hour, get above the 50 on the 4 hour, and I guess, you know, close on a daily perspective, close above 31,165. Close above there. If you can do those things, the whole bearish movement that I've been projecting, I would say it's safe to say that that's invalidated. Especially because I think we are getting toward the end of this range. But if not, in fact, if we get a low, a wick even, I would say, any kind of price below this, I might even say a daily close below this, I don't know. You know, it would be the opposite. It'd be more condemning to the downside. And I don't think that it's going to be a dramatic drop. I've been saying this for like a week now. I do think that we go somewhere around here. As the days go on, this will just continue to go upwards, you know, so maybe not that low, but somewhere around 28.4, 27,000, somewhere around there. That's kind of the expectation at the moment. 28.4, 28.5, something like that, if not lower. And yeah, man, that's all I got. That's really all I got, I think. The ETF didn't pass. It got denied, and Bitcoin's not doing anything with it. You know, it had a 0.41% move to the downside. You know, whatever, big deal. Maybe it does move down, you know, afterwards. I really don't know, but we'll see. Time will tell. Man, my throat really hurts. I'm sorry, guys. If the tone of this video has been different too, man, my throat, I've like been kind of struggling right now. My throat really actually hurts. So I'm gonna sign off. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more. I don't know what's wrong with me. So yeah, take care. Bye bye.